Hey there, Reject Nation. Greg Alba here.
And I'm breaking the fourth wall.
Yes, we are, by talking to you guys today, because we watched Deadpool 2 last night, really late night showing. This is going to be a non-spoiler review. I was really surprised by how much you could actually spoil with this movie, so we are going to be doing a spoiler review, because there's plenty of fun, great things to talk about. Non-spoiler, going into it. Alright, so quickly before hopping into this, I want to give a Patron of the Day shout out to Kent McKnight. Kent McKnight, without revealing anything too personal, this guy had surgery recently, and it was a really serious thing. Kent, I am so happy that your surgery went well. Last time we talked in messages, you are really hopped up on a lot of prescriptions. And I'm saying prescriptions when really it's just drugs. This guy just does a lot of drugs.
Yeah, it was just like, I had surgery, gotta up that cocaine intake.
Yeah, he's really just heavily intoxicated post-surgery. You know what? You had a tough time. You had to go through the surgery. I say, you go ahead and do as many drugs as you want.
And go back to hating on The Last Jedi, because I know that's what brings you joy in life.
But Kent, we love you, buddy. Glad to hear you're doing better, my friend. All right, so the plot of this movie, I'm only going to go off of what the trailers reveal to you about the plot, because there's very specific things about the setup that would be too spoiler heavy to reveal here. The plot that they at least give away in the trailer, Cable comes from the future, and he's going after this kid named Russell, aka Fire Fist, a mutant with, like a pyro kind of power, except they all come from his hands, where he just lets out fire. There's a very specific reason why Deadpool wants to protect him. That's how the adventure begins. But I just want to tell you guys, this film just made me really happy.
It did.
From beginning to end,
Definitely,
I was just a very happy camper. I was surprised by how much glee I was feeling, because this film, it's a sequel that is darker, yet in my opinion, funnier.
It's exactly what Judd Apatow wanted to do with funny people.
Yeah, if you look at Deadpool 1, the first half of Deadpool 1, they come back and forth between Deadpool's journey, where he's Deadpool in the costume, and then Wade Wilson, what's leading up to him becoming Deadpool. Yeah. And the Wade Wilson section has its humorous parts with him and Vanessa, but it gets pretty serious and dark for a lot of that.
All the cancer stuff and the transformation stuff is pretty heavy.
And then here, it's kind of spread out. It goes in between dark, emotional stuff and then really funny stuff. Dark, emotional, and really funny stuff. It was pretty surprising by how great of a tone David Leitch was able to find with this film.
Because it centers around Wade as a character. Like, the rules all apply through Wade, so when the heavier stuff happens to him, the movie will shift into that tone, and it works surprisingly well. Like, the drama and the comedy never feel like they're encroaching.
It doesn't ever feel tonally imbalanced, because there are times where you're like, are we getting too dark? And then something hilarious will just happen. I don't think I've seen a movie that can master that level, because you get even more meta humor. You get even way more fourth wall breaking.
Yeah, it's like it takes itself so unseriously as a movie, but it takes its characters seriously.
Yeah, because the jokes are still coming from within the characters, so the film is just really fun, even though it's darker.
And you care a lot about everybody and everything that's going on.
I think in this one, a big difference that I noticed is in Deadpool 1, Wade Wilson is a human being, is a three-dimensional character, but when he's like Deadpool, he's more of just a cartoon character. Because of specific plot points that occur in this movie and the journey that he's going on, he's just Deadpool the whole movie. Even when he has the costume on, even with all the fourth wall breaking, all the meta humor, all the cartooniness of him, he feels like a three-dimensional character even in the costume.
Like
you could
actual character.
You could feel the emotions, and he has an arc and everything. I thought it was well justified of how they're turning him into more of a superhero, because they still do it in good Deadpool fashion.
Yeah, it's so gradual too.
I was worried that, like, are they gonna like ruin the anti-hero qualities of this guy? Because when I saw some clips, I was kind of concerned about that, but I thought they found a great blend of how to turn him into a hero, and with a great emotional journey for Deadpool, actually.
Piggybacking really nicely off the first film, and one of the things I have to appreciate most about both of these together as pieces is just the fact that they bother to make Wade a character that grows and develops over time. Whereas, like, a lot of them don't get to.
Without sacrificing the style of a Deadpool movie.
I feel like that's the happy byproduct of what anarchy the tone gets to be, is that you can just be serious and it also works. Yeah. Because there's so many flavors to choose from.
And the movie's bigger It's crazier, way more nutty. The plot is a much bigger mission than the first one. The first one's pretty simple. This one's much bigger, yet it's still personal. I love that they managed to capture that, because when you watch the trailer, it's like, are they gonna get too big in this one? But it doesn't get like MCU caliber.
Yeah, it's weirdly grounded still. Like the caliber and the scale of the action in the first one is definitely built upon in this one, but it doesn't feel like there are just no physics anymore or anything like that.
Speaking of action, the action scenes in this movie,
oh, man.
They top the first one by far. It's like, that was the one thing I was certain that this movie would do, because when you get the guy behind John Wick to do the action scenes in it, you're like, we're probably gonna get better action, and you certainly do. And a bigger budget does help. The action sequences here are awesome.
And the choreography too.
Choreography is
more
great.
on that.
Yeah, there's some great gunplay in here, some great hand-to-hand combat here.
Sword
the
stuff.
movie is much more gory than the last one.
Much.
You're like, whoa, that is gory. Yeah.
And they take full advantage of Deadpool with the gore.
Yeah.
You know, like himself, because there's some weird things on screen.
I would say that Cable probably has the best action sequences, especially Cable's first actual action scene.
This is so cool.
It's so cool, and it's the one fight where you're like, the guy who did John Wick definitely directed this.
Yeah.
That's the only fight scene where you see that, where you're like, that's definitely the John Wick director right there.
Yeah, it's like super smooth, just like choreography, really efficient, hard-hitting, like impact, bone-crunching.
It's badass. And Josh Brolin in this film is great. I thought he was a good counterpart for Deadpool. I mean, it goes along the lines of the, Deadpool and Cable have their own comic book series here. He is set up as the antagonist of the film. Josh Brolin has less lines in here than he does as Thanos. But that works for the character.
Yeah, well, and they built the character up really well, too, because there's been such a to-do about finally seeing Cable, and the way the movie gradually even introduces him is perfect.
I watch interviews with like Josh Brolin and Ryan Reynolds, and they have such great chemistry in just those interviews. In this film, their chemistry is great.
He's the perfect foil for Deadpool.
Because Deadpool is very, he's Deadpool.
He's all nonsense.
And
Cable is so nonsense.
Yeah. But there's humor that definitely comes from that. Domino, what's her name?
Zazie Beetz? Yeah.
Zazie Beetz was a definite highlight. When I saw the trailers, I was like, I bet she's going to be a highlight. And then sure enough, she is. She's that character they talk about in the trailers whose power is luck, and they don't really show you how those powers work in the trailer. It's really cool, but Zazie Beetz' reaction to so many things is brilliant. She's great in the movie.
Yeah, her characterization is so strangely magical, and there's something about the power of luck for her that is oddly unique in a superhero setting too.
I mean, there's a character in the Flash show that has that power, but it's done way better here. The kid who plays Russell, this dude from New Zealand, that was an interesting touch to have like the child mutant character.
Yeah.
There's a very specific line that I don't want to give away that has a good touch on who this character is. And I like that a lot of the themes of this movie rested on this character's journey.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't take up majority of the screen time, but he's such an important character in the film and to Deadpool. And I thought the kid did a great job. Like, he does a great job. Yeah.
He plays off
very
everybody
emotional,
really well.
Yeah.
Like, he fits
and he's
perfectly
funny
into
too.
the cast.
Yeah.
He's funny, and he's like kind of menacing at points.
Yeah. Don't want to touch on the X-Force characters because they don't really show them in the trailers. But Peter is
good old Rob Delaney.
He's funny. Yeah, he's funny in that movie, man. He's
rocking
funny.
that mustache.
Yeah. I wasn't really distracted by T.J. Miller's presence in here. He has some funny moments too.
Yeah, well, and he actually kind of plays a character as Weasel that's not 1000% T.J. Miller. He's got a little bit more rasp. And even with him, I like that they got kind of meta and like acknowledged the fact that he's always describing things in really eccentric ways.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, this still was Deadpool's movie. A lot of characters in this movie shine, but the true star of this movie is definitely Ryan Reynolds.
Everyone's reacting to Deadpool, no matter who the characters are. Everybody is forced to react to and reckon with Deadpool.
And another thing that I love that this film did really well was there are some jokes in here that are callbacks, or like reminiscent of jokes that were made in the first one. And I don't want to give any of those away. But what I thought was smart about it is they don't feel like rehash. You know how like there's some comedy sequels like Hangover 2 or even Austin Powers 2 where you're just doing the same jokes.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, they're just like, remember how funny it was in the first one when we said it? Like Airplane 2. This movie doesn't do that. They have jokes that are built upon jokes from the first one, bits from the first one, but they make them better and bigger. Like, there are jokes they build upon that I thought worked even better this time around and were way funnier and more memorable.
I don't remember very many cheap or wasted callbacks.
No, definitely not. I wanted to wait because sometimes we shoot these reviews like immediately after. I felt like I loved this movie more than than the last one. I just felt that.
It's just impressive in a different way to me.
Yeah, they're different films. I prefer this one. I do. I love this one. I just love this movie. There were times where our bits occurred on screen where I was like, that's brilliant. Like, I just say it, like, that's brilliant.
I think both the Deadpool movies are very special in terms of modern blockbusters, in terms of modern superhero stuff. But yeah, at least right now, thinking back, I just have such a sense of glee that rises from within when I think about Deadpool 2 right now.
And especially coming off the heels of Infinity War, it's nice to check out this. It really is. I highly recommend you go check this out. I don't know if you'll prefer it over the first one. Either way, even if you don't prefer it, I'm sure you'll still enjoy it.
You gotta at least have fun.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Keep a lookout for our spoiler review. We'll be uploading it very, very soon, actually. There's plenty to talk about there. It won't be like a full analysis, full breakdown. We're just going to go over some of our favorite moments in it.
Bits.
You guys can subscribe to the Reject Nation. Click that notification bell to get notified every time one of our videos is up. Check us out on Patreon. Full-length TV show reactions, weekly Q&As, music video coverage. We'd love to have you become a Patroniject today. Speaking of Patroniject, David Gandy, thanks for this Deadpool polo.
Ooh.